about one of the most deadliest viruses in the world. The Black Sydney virus. Oh no, no, it is known to be called the rabies virus. And as you know about rabies, what is rabies? Oh well, that is when a disease is been known of when the virus attacks. An old virus usually contains genes and often attacks and host cells down. But the lysical virus is different. Instead, it got 5 genes that help to survive and solve different problems to attack. First, it infects animals, it avoids the immune system, travels to the brain, makes more of itself, and repeats the cycle over and over in each animal. Let's start it with everything. It all started with a bite. Usually when a dog bites you. And after zombie apple, and it does all these things. And when after the bite, it usually attacks the neurons, the body parts that help to tell. And as the neurons talk to each other of the sensors, the rabies virus enters, seeking with to talk about, and after the talk, it sneaks in as though the neurons were full. But then the next thing it had to challenge is to solve a big problem. It needs to enter the cell where it needs to make more itself. But this is a problem. It goes too far, so it can't just get there without just moving to there. So instead, it calls out the proteins. The proteins usually, The proteins are in packages where they carry the cargo of the sensor that hasn't been talked, and then carries it to the cell area, which, because of this, the proteins were also folded by it and were carried visibly by the virus. But what is your immune system? Well, it doesn't do much. It just thinks that everything is fine and then just move away. But usually inside a cell has neurons, has interferons, which then awaken the immune system. And you could tell where was the virus in each cell by pumping into one to another. And lysical virus define and the lysical virus usually stay inside each neuron one by one and then enters to the other and enters to each other neurons. One by one neurons whirl around, and each neuron may contain it, and when it explodes, it releases out more lysical virus and enters on more. And interferons tell us that each neuron may have a lysical virus. But how does your immune system can tell? Well, it uses an NHM class 1, which is like a small window which then lifts a pieces up from the DNA to show what's inside. Usually the virus genes catch with it, which then makes it easy. So if the immune system knows that one of the cells have been infected, it will pop in, exploding it out. This is one of the most best known to find out which had the virus and which had not. But this virus isn't. And then the immune system will eventually pop out the cell and then kills all the virus that goes inside, which is the best to destroy viruses. But this virus didn't attack normal cells. Instead, it continues to attack neurons, attacking each neuron one by one, so that the immune system wouldn't attack it inside your neuron. But as it continued, it was traveling to the brainstem, which is where it was needed. And if it enters there, it could be a big problem. I think you don't know that it can either bite from a dog or into your face. But after a long time, it could take a week or a month. And then as the immune system dies again, they know that something is truly a big problem. So they rushes in from the bloodstream and beginning to find out the area. But then the lysical virus is using like a unicorn, which then like a blast. It kills down it destroys the killer T cells. And as viruses need to attack through neuron by neuron, the killer T cells will eventually cut each neuron area from one to one, cutting. And then after cutting, it needs to make sure to become a problem. But since the virus didn't want to become caught, they need to release other T cells. So this is when the unicorns truly appear. And when they enter a neuron, they will have to face the killer T cell, which then pokes it, shocking with electricity into the killer T cell dies. And just try again. And when the neuron pokes it, it could become shocking, and the killer T cell broke down and died. and then each by one, it's when the terrifying problem happened to you. The viruses entered the brain. This is when the saying it came: "You're going to die now." How lysical kills. But one question remains. We're not sure exactly how the lysical virus kills infected weight. Why did the person with rabies die after being infected? Well, they're not sure because they haven't found the true answer. And since they just get a guesswork that it was when the virus spread like crazy, attacking into the tissues and spreading like a zombie, like fascination. But there's something that proves out that it wasn't the idea. The checking. After they check it, they find out that nothing inside the tissues were destroyed or killed by, until they find the true answer. It's still attacking the neurons, slowly killing them down, and then they eventually die. And then, which leads us to confusion, from confusion to paralysis. After that, it could begin, and after it attacks, it could eventually begin to leave, attacking more neurons under it. It may even enter into your mouth, which is like a zombie outbreak after they're getting into saliva. But this is a normal way. No, there is no outbreak as the humans fighting another human, except like animals. So look at my dog. She's okay, so let's get back to the channel. Where it gets so dark. Okay, so here it goes. It's a and when the lysical virus leaves, the neurons inside the brain expands the brain so much that it causes organs to fail, and then your life is over. No medicines were being treated to survive from this true deadly virus, which is known to kill up to around 60,000 deaths. But well, we got something. A vaccine. The rabies were the first disease to get the first vaccine. And look at her. I'm not sure if you can show her. Jump and jump up. And then Dream, she's down there. And after that, until the vaccine was founded, and after it was selected, but even though the giant lysical virus steals, humanity said that one day we will defeat this monster. So I'll see you next time.